Let's think about this. Did you just pick up your car, you took it to the shop to get the alignment done, and the car came out pulling the steering to the same side, just like before? Or maybe you're the alignment technician and the customer brought in their car. You did the alignment, made sure everything was perfect and neat. And even so, the customer's car still kept pulling. This is one of the biggest frustrations, both for those who take their car in for alignment and for many people who work with alignments and get these questions and complaints every day. So in this video, I'm going to show you that not every case of a car pulling to one side is directly related to the alignment. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because every time we post a new video, you'll get notified. All right? This car here is actually a really excellent example of a completely misaligned car. So we have a camber problem with the camber being out of specification on both the left and the right sides. Additionally, we also have a noticeable change in the caster on the left side. And we have a major misalignment here in the toe on both the left and right wheels, right? So if you look, the total alignment of this car here is 6.5 millimeters positive. So this is a simple case where we have a car. The front axle is completely misaligned. You can see that the rear is perfect. Camber, rear with the agency, thrust angle, the rear is perfect, but the front is totally off. So that's perfectly normal. You can have a car like this entirely misaligned and it doesn't pull at all, just as you might come across a car 100% aligned, both the rear and front axles, and yet the car pulls to one side while driving. But in the mind of someone who owns a car, or sometimes in the mind of a beginner, someone just starting out with alignments, learning the hard way, day by day, struggling, getting frustrated, suffering, just like it happened to me too. I've been through that myself. I know exactly what it's like to try to learn the hard way, by force, through difficulties, day in and day out. So, besides wasting a lot of time and racking your brain over it, you can end up with a financial loss, both for yourself and for the company, or even in some cases for the customer. So, as I promised at the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you that in a car, there's a problem that has nothing to do with alignment, but it can make a car pull significantly. And you can keep aligning it over and over again. You take the car in for alignment 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And you still won't solve the problem because, as I already mentioned, the issue isn't always with the alignment. You'll notice here that we now have the body. And here is the structure of a steering rack. This is actually a hydraulic steering rack, which is commonly used in many vehicles. Alright, so now we're going to carefully get out from under the car, and then we're going to do a visual inspection under the vehicle's hood. Take a look here. Do you see this structure right here? Do you see this particular part here? This is the pump for the car's hydraulic steering system. Alright, here we have a hose, and here we have the oil reservoir. Okay, so simply put, here we have the hydraulic steering system, reservoir, pump, and steering rack. Just like you saw underneath the vehicle. Alright, you'll see here that I have this hydraulic tube, this tube. It comes out of the pump and goes straight to the rack. Okay? So let's take a look at this steering rack here. In this image, it's much easier for you to see. You can see that here I have 2 inlets. 2 hoses will connect right here in this particular spot. One of these hoses comes from the pump, providing the necessary flow, and the other one goes to the reservoir, right? Here we have 2 more outlets, right? Here there's an inlet and an outlet. And here we have 2 outlets. These 2 outlets go into the body of the sector, right? In other words, into the steering rack. Now, we're going to use another image to make it easier to understand. With this image I think it's better for you to understand how a hydraulic steering system works. And you'll come to the conclusion that yes, a hydraulic steering system can have a problem that makes the car pull to one side. And if you're a layperson, or just a customer who owns a car, or if you've just started working as an alignment technician, you might think, oh, the car is pulling, it must be an alignment issue. Not always. There are several mechanical problems that can make the car pull, right? And I explained this, how you can run some tests in our complete course, which covers everything from basic to advanced vehicle geometry. But let's get to it. So, we're going to understand here how the hydraulic steering system works. So you can see that yes, it really can make the car pull. Here we have the pump reservoir, here we have the pump, and here we have the steering gear, or the steering box. Imagine the driver turns the car's steering wheel to one side. What happens then? The pump takes oil from the reservoir, draws it in, and sends it under pressure to the valve at the entrance of the steering box, as I showed at the start of the video. When the wheel is turned, the pump draws oil and sends it to this connection here. This oil will come here and start filling the chamber on this side, which is a pressurized chamber, and the oil that's on the other side of each chamber will return here and go back to the reservoir. So this pressure from the pump along with the oil flow here makes the car turn the steering to one side. It helps the driver turn the steering wheel to one side. That's why power steering feels lighter, because the pressure of the hydraulic oil inside here makes the steering wheel feel lighter. When the driver turns the steering wheel to the other side, what happens now? What happens is that the valve here will change direction. Now, this oil will stop entering here and will start entering here instead. Look, the oil will enter here on this side. Then it will start filling the other side of the cylinder. And the oil that was here will eventually return to the reservoir. So that's exactly what makes the power steering system feel light and easy to turn. So when we have a problem with the valve that's located inside here, this particular valve that opens and closes and changes direction, then we might have an issue with this specific valve component. The oil keeps pressing, and as a result, it keeps leaking more and more to one side of the chamber, causing the car to tend to turn the steering wheel by itself to one side. And that's when the car will actually start to pull noticeably. So you can adjust the alignment, adjust the camber, you can even adjust the caster of the car. If the problem is in the power steering system, the only effective solution for the car to stop pulling is to replace the steering gear or the steering rack assembly or have it professionally repaired. Now, take a closer look here from another perspective and see what is happening here, okay? Here is the hose that comes from the pump. Take a look here at the rotary valve. So, as the driver turns the steering wheel, the valve will open and close, changing the flow of oil. So, let's go. Turn the steering wheel to one side, the oil comes from here, enters here, passes over, and fills this side of the chamber. See? The oil that's here returns to the reservoir. The driver turned the steering wheel to the other side, so the valve closes on one side and opens on the other. Oil from the pump enters this side, and oil in this chamber returns to the reservoir. That's how a hydraulic steering system works, right? And then you notice, here we have a seal here, and a seal here, okay? This area here is lubricated with grease, okay? Here we have the pinion shaft. Here is the rotary valve, here is the piston, and here is the entire housing of the steering box. This image here from another perspective is very interesting because it shows the worm shaft in contact with the rack shaft. So when the driver starts to turn the steering wheel, it will begin to move the car's steering from one side to the other. At the same time, the oil flow will start to work. The oil returns to the reservoir from one side and the other. It will fill this chamber right here to create pressure, helping here, making it easier for the driver and making the steering noticeably lighter. So basically, that's it. Look, a simple steering system, pinion shaft, rack, piston, and here are the hoses that return to the valve. So, as you can see in this video right here, we clearly have a mechanical problem that can make the car pull, and someone who doesn't know anything might think the car is pulling because of another issue. It's alignment. I'm tired of seeing beginner aligners, guys who have already been in the business for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. They're aligning their vehicle and they get a car that's pulling to one side, so they do everything they possibly can and keep trying to redo, adjust, improve, and change things. These guys really try all sorts of different things. In many cases, it's absolutely unnecessary just to fix a pull that actually has nothing to do with the alignment itself, right? So if you like this video, please click like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more helpful content. because every time we post a new video, you will be notified, alright? And another thing, if you are interested in becoming an expert, a standout professional in the automotive maintenance field, especially in alignment, balancing, camber and caster, make sure to stay tuned. I have the best and most comprehensive geometry course in Brazil, so you can go check out what I'm talking about. If you're interested, jump in and let's go for it. Another thing, here on YouTube, I have a lot of great tips, tons of videos, really cool stuff. But why would you want to buy a course? Because the course, unlike the YouTube video lessons, which are random videos, in the course we have detailed thorough step-by-step content. All the procedures on how to perform so you can deliver a quality service, a service that stands out. And when there's a problem that's not related to your area, you'll know how to communicate that to your client. And here's one more additional piece of information. As you can see throughout the video, a car with hydraulic steering tends to be a car that has higher fuel consumption than vehicles with traditional mechanical steering systems, or electronic steering systems, as people call it. Electric steering, why is that? For the simple reason that when a car uses a hydraulic steering system, there's a pump. This pump circulates the oil through the steering box, and it's driven by the car's engine. So we have one more item, one more accessory, something extra there drawing energy from the engine. In other words, this makes the engine work harder, increases fuel consumption, and reduces performance. Nowadays, we have advanced electronic steering systems that use the vehicle's electrical power to make the steering feel lighter and easier to handle, which helps the vehicle's overall performance and driving comfort. This way, since the engine is no longer required to power an additional hydraulic pump, it becomes lighter, can perform better, and also consumes less fuel. To sum up, vehicles equipped with electronic steering assistance systems tend to be much more fuel-efficient vehicles. Of course, there are several other important factors that make newer cars increasingly more economical, but the electronic steering system alone already makes a vehicle significantly more efficient. Alright, so that's it. If you like this video, click like, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel, because every time we post a new video, you'll be notified. Alright? Now you can see that the car is running and the engine is driving this pump, okay? And it's drawing oil from the reservoir and sending it through this tube here, look, into the steering box, right?